Okay, so I did a community post with this screen cap, and I made a big mistake doing so because there's actually no website being shown. It doesn't show what the website actually is, and I actually can't find this. It's by Leah Steinenberg, right? And this is not. So let's read this. In response to widespread backlash, Todd Phillips defends Joker, insisting it compels society to confront its complicity in male entitlement. Todd Phillips defends Joker Frolics and Dukes, citing a political message to diminish problematic male influence. Right. I don't think he said that now. I can't find the quote of him saying that. I think that's her interpretation, to be honest, because if he did actually say this, please help me find the source of this. I can't find it via Google or Yandex or Bing. I'm going to have a look at an interview here from this is one of the things I can find. So he's talking about the identity of Arthur Fleck, and IGN's going, and you guys are pushing back like, no, 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 I'm just Arthur Phillips. That's right. That is in the movie, but it was never about addressing toxic fandom. But it's about addressing the idea of what happens if this thing gets put upon you, like what we're saying just like 5 minutes ago. But it's not actually what you are. And then what happens in the worst case scenario? If you finally find love in your life, and you think you do, but that person is in love with the character and that you represent, not the person that you are. So this is the male experience. This is about status. Men have to get status. Men are just not loved for who they are innately, right? Arthur Fleck is a passive, mentally ill discard, right? A victim of child abuse and child neglect and disparagement and abuse by society in general. Okay? And the Joker 1 movie is about modern day society. It's set in the late 70s, early 80s, but it's actually about modern day society. Okay? So, for example, the Robert De Niro character, he's actually not a game show host, right? He actually represents the internet and media gatekeepers, media personalities who are anti male and disparages mentally ill, vulnerable men, right? Because that's what the internet does to men, right? And men, mentally ill, loner men, and men in general don't have any class consciousness. They can't organise as a group and push back and fight back. They can only lash out in rage individually. So this is what men have to do to to try and escape the torment, and they can't actually escape. They've got a status grind, right? Or they got to wallow in their misery. Or yeah, that's it. That's the choices men have. Okay, so let's look at the same producers, the same writers. This is number two. This is number one. Same creative team, and I don't really trust the narrative, pushback narrative on this movie anymore. 'Cause I'm gonna have to watch the movie myself to judge. Okay, I'll have to get around to doing that and give my opinion on it. So, uh, so basically, there's some possibilities here. So, I think Todd Phillips tried to keep the second movie consistent narrative-wise with the first one. Okay, so he actually didn't do an about turn. He still pandered to feminists by making it a musical, right? I do think he was probably getting pressured to do certain things to make it not appeal to men, but I don't think he intentionally did that himself on purpose, right? I think he was pressured to do that. But the musical thing is done to shit on men. Men don't like musicals for the most part. It's mostly a female favoured genre because musicals are not about the music. It's not like opera. It's about the performance, the people prancing around who look attractive, wearing costumes and makeup. It appeals to females. Okay, so the narrative of the second movie is actually consistent with the first one. So let's go through the second one, from what I know. So he gets blue balled by a woman who does not find him romantically attractive. Again, there you are. But the person that you're loving is in love with the character that you are, that you represent, not the person that you are. Yeah? Okay? So, the groupie leads him on and denies him intimacy for the most part, manipulates him. That's realistic. Women do that all the time. Because people don't understand female dating habits. A lot of it's sadistic, denial, like leading it men on, teasing them, wasting their time, getting meals off them, like flaking out, which is a bad term because it's not being flaky. It's done on purpose, right? Flaking out is done to disrespect the man and waste his time. It's a hostile act, so that's realistic. He gets raped. The Joker character, Arthur Fleck, that's realistic. Men get raped in American prisons all the time. It's actually encouraged and cheered on by society, right? Okay, so but Arthur Fleck gets murdered at the end, which is realistic. Men get murdered in prisons all the time. Now, I'm going to tell you why men love the first Joker movie. They absolutely fucking loved it, right? Okay. Men love the first Joker movie because men, when they feel low status and anxious about their status, they start having violent fantasies, violent revenge fantasies, and they want to lash out. And most of their violent revenge fantasies are directed towards other men. And men love action movies. They love action movies. They love men putting other men in place, killing them and torturing them. Like everyone just loves Arnold Schwarzenegger going, "Do you know when I promised to kill you last? I lied." They love it. They love it. They orgasm to it, right? It's part of the male psyche, unfortunately. And I love violent stuff as well. It's part of my nature. Yeah. Yeah, like for example, that Enter the Dragon, that evil when I was a kid, that evil rapist character with the scar on his face, O'Hara. I loved it when Bruce Lee just stamped on his chest and killed him. And went, "Eh." And the fans loved it. And the actor who played the character when he interviewed, he says in the cinema like people were cheering on his death on. They really hate the character. Men love to hate other men, and they love to see these other men die. So the Joker, what he's doing is he's getting abused and he's lashing out and he's killing people, mostly men, by the way. But what makes the Joker one? This is what freaks the feminists out. There's two things that freak the feminists out. They know male anger deep down is justified and meant they're oppressing men, right? Okay, and the oppressors don't want to stop oppressing because they enjoy the sadism of it, right? So yeah, and number two, the Joker is one of the few movies where the aggression, the revenge is not misplaced aggression. He hits all the right targets, male and female. Okay, so when he kills his mother, this is what freaks the feminists out. He's taking out the single mother piece of shit who allowed him to get abused by a stepdad, right? Did nothing to protect him, gave him a chaotic childhood, ruined his life, gaslighted him with fake medical conditions, right? Just ruined his life completely, made him a low status discard, setting him up for failure. Right? Men can't get by being a low status mentally ill nobody. Men don't want to be. Men want women in their lives. They want relationships. They want families. Right? And men can't do that. They'll get deselected. So he set him up for isolation, of failure, and deselection. And men don't like that. And it was a betrayal as well. The abuse was a betrayal. So he kills his mother. And deep down, subconsciously, feminists know that anger is justified, and women are the main cause of chaos in society. Single mothers are. They're the vast majority of child abusers. Now, the right wing male fan base, who loved the first Joker movie, because it had sadistic revenge fantasy violence, and Todd Phillips did interviews about the violence freaking people out, and it being too realistic, and that was the point. No, it doesn't freak people out. People love the sadistic violence. Like, for example, that pencil kill or screwdriver kill against the snitch. People love that. To be honest, I loved it. I hate snitches, right? I can understand the desire to want to kill someone, snitch on you, and get you in trouble and stab you in the back, right? People love it. Let's be real. Why do you think people watch action movies and horror movies? The feminists just didn't like the fact that it was an angry, low status male lashing out righteously. Yeah? That's the only thing they hate. If feminist orgasm at movies where female characters torture evil males, right? They love it. They love it. So they're hypocrites. They're fucking hypocrites. So the Joker 2, the right wing male audience doesn't like the Joker 2. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's actually consistent. After he doesn't. The only thing is he doesn't take on a Joker persona. He tries to reject it, and he gets abused. He gets raped, and I don't think the men would actually mind it so much if the Joker went on another rampage at the end and killed loads of people in revenge. Then they'd like the Joker too. What the problem is, the Joker 2 blue balls the revenge fantasy aspect, the power fantasy aspect, and that's why it's hated. And it's got shitty musical things as well. And from what I understand, it's structured not as good as the first one as well, from a plot perspective. But if it had the catharsis, if it had the revenge, it had the slaughter at the end. The Joker went nuts, like killed the people, raped them, and tortured them in return. Right? Okay, they'll love it. And there's another aspect, like Joker 2 poster. Joker. Well, image. Let's find the. This is actually the most intimate one because this is so when a woman leans into you, it's a sign of intimacy and trust. Okay, so this movie promises Joker an attract. Lady Gaga's attractive actually, especially when you see without her makeup. The problem with Lady Gaga, she puts on weird makeup, right? But she's still structurally a very attractive, cute woman with a good body, right? So the Joker 2 from the poster, oh, he's gonna get an attractive, groupie sidekick who's intimate with him. So he's gonna be validated by a woman, right? That's gonna be part of the revenge fantasy, right? Or the fantasy in general. Like, oh yeah, he's gonna become kick-ass. He's gonna go on a crime rampage. He's gonna get revenge on society, and he's gonna get an attractive woman as a sidekick. Yeah. Now, no, in the second movie, it just blue balls it completely. Just blue balls it. That's it. Blue balls. So this is why the right-wing male audience doesn't like it, and I highly doubt he said this. I want to know for sure. If you can find this quote, please share it with me, the source of it. I want the source of this, please. Right? Okay. So, yeah. Over and out. Oh yes, so I just want to emphasise one more thing for our individual. I'm sorry because I do think this is important. We've got to keep our own biases in check. Try not to go along with narratives and assume too much. Like, do research, right? So I do think Joker 2 is a blue ballsing movie, and I do think it had feminist influence, but I'm not sure if Todd Phillips did it completely on purpose. And even if he did do it, I think he was bullied into doing it as well, because high stakes men don't have principles. They'll kowtow like crazy. And here's another thing as well. Loads of men do this. I've actually seen MRAs do 180s and become male feminists, like Spinosaurus Kin, because they're scared, they're cowards, they capitulate. Right, over and out for real.